Here we are, Desert Color, here in St. George, Utah, one of the most highly sought after areas in all of southern Utah, and even Utah in general. The Lagoon hasn't even opened yet, but we get a first-hand look at this gorgeous place and why people want to move here or maybe don't want to move here. So let's dive in. I want to show you what Desert Color looks like, what kind of homes are here, what the HOA looks like, including fees and what's included in the HOA, and what buyers should know before moving here or buying a property here. My name is Dallin Hales. I'm your local realtor down here in southern Utah. So let's get into it. Let's talk about Desert Color. Desert Color is not a typical subdivision. There are more standard single family homes around Desert Color, but when you think of Desert Color, you probably think of the Lagoon. Desert Color is built around amenities, lifestyle, right? Being able to truly enjoy your home. It's obviously very different from other neighborhoods. You know, down here we have a lot of red rock, like gorgeous, stunning red rock, and a lot of red dirt, if you've seen my other videos. But here what they've done is they've master planned this entire community to be in the middle of all this gorgeous scenery, but they've also made it feel like you're almost on the beach of California. If you've stayed at a beach house in San Diego, Newport Beach, it almost has that kind of feel to it. It's really cool what they've done. Usually when people come down here, they think of a lot of golf, red rock, tons of hiking, tons of sun, right? And then all of a sudden you have this lagoon with white sand that's over half a mile long. It kind of throws people off guard, but it is such an awesome place. And if you haven't checked it out, I definitely recommend checking it out. Let's talk about the Lagoon a little bit more. You know, one of the main reasons that guests come here. Then I'll answer some FAQs at the end. One of the coolest things is you can come down, you can have your kids go out and play with sand that they would find on the beach, and then you can go inside and then go explore the red rocks, go hike in southern Utah, or go on a hike in Snow Canyon Park a few minutes away, drive 45 minutes to Zion's National Park, right? That's such a cool location. And Desert Color really has a resort, vacation, destination kind of feel. And they've really done such a good job. The Lagoon is like 2.5 acres worth of water, and I believe it goes down to about just over 8 feet, I think 8.5 feet down. In terms of prices of all of these homes, I'm actually seeing some condos. They are in the 200s, right? They're kind of the outskirts of Desert Color, but for the most part, you may find some that are in the 300s, but 400s plus. As you get closer to the Lagoon, the more expensive they generally get. And in terms of sizes, right, there's condos 800 to 900 square feet and homes as big as 10,000 square feet. So ranging in the whole kind of desert community area from high 200s to over 8 million. So you've got quite a variety here, which is awesome because it opens it up to all kinds of buyers. Now let's talk about HOA fee, because this is really interesting. The HOA fee, and it obviously changes all the time, from what I've seen is around a little less than $200 to a few $100s, right? $500 or so, and it can always change. I spoke to Tina, who's the lifestyle director there at Desert Color. Shout out to Tina, she's awesome. And she let me know that they are able to keep HOA fees lower than expected, because something like this you would expect HOA fees to be, you know, close to $1,000 or at least that. She said they are able to keep the HOA fees low because of the income, you know, fees, taxes, licenses from the short-term rentals. So really the short-term rentals are helping the entire community out from their income and keeping the HOA levels low for the entire community, which is really cool. HOA, you know, obviously it can always change based on the CCNRs, but it often covers your pickleball courts, the park pavilions, playgrounds, the upkeep and yard maintenance, internet, the clubhouse, outdoor pools, hot tubs. And people are like, well, does it include the Lagoon? Actually, what happens when you book a stay down at Desert Color, they often just have a fee up front that will give you a wristband and access to the Lagoon. Tina also said that they have a ton of activities throughout the year, right? They have Christmas parties on the Lagoon. They have cardboard boat races, and like she told me several, and I should have written them down. So you do have an HOA fee, but in this kind of area, it's really not bad and totally, in my opinion, totally reasonable. An interesting fact too is, you know, this community I think started in 2019, 2020. So some homeowners have owned their homes for 5 years. Most have owned them between 0 and 3 years because they're all new builds. And you can see they are still building even just right on the Laguna. So it's a very new area. Just by looking over the numbers, it looks like more than half of them are selling within 30 days, which is phenomenal. It's just a highly sought after area that want to have a home here, either to stay or to rent out. So who is Desert Color best for? Buyers that don't mind paying for an HOA fee that includes the lifestyle of the community. They don't mind paying for amenities up front. People who like new builds, it's more of a luxurious lifestyle. People relocating from out of the state, I think, should look at Desert Color. There's still a nice neighborhood feel if you do have kids, right? There's streets around Desert Color or around the Lagoon that are not just very touristy. This is a great place for people that want to have a gathering area. You know, if you want to buy a property and rent it out, but then block off a week or two for your family, it's an awesome idea. People that like low maintenance and you have a property management company run everything for you if you do rent it out. Primary or secondary residences, a vacation home, short-term rental, long-term rental are all great options for this area. I just talked to someone that has it as a long-term, and he says that they have great tenants and it seems to be paying for itself and is cash flow positive. All right, so Desert Color is awesome, but what are some of the downsides of Desert Color? I've seen some comments where people are like, well, where are all the trees? So there's not a lot of mature trees yet. It doesn't have a classic St. George feel, you know, compared to downtown St. George. It's definitely more destination vacation focused and themed. Another downside is the lagoon is actually not heated. At first that may seem like a huge con, a huge downside. When you have as many hot days as we have here in St. George, it heats up pretty quick and you don't want it to be hot tub warm. You want it to be a little bit cooler. And I haven't heard any comments about the lagoon being really cold. And another downside is this, you have to be okay with living at Desert Color. It's a very, it's a hot spot for vacation rentals. There's a lot of tourists there, but you do have to be cognizant about how many, you know, short-term guests are there. Now let's go over some FAQs that a lot of people have about Desert Color. What are the lagoon hours? It opens at 10 a.m. I was able to fly my drone around at 9 because it hadn't opened yet, but it opens up at 10 a.m. and it closes 30 minutes after sunset. Although the lagoon is not heated, the pools are heated. As you first come into the lagoon area, those pools are heated to roughly 85 degrees and the hot tub is obviously heated. Who has access to the lagoon and the amenities? You know, people that check in, you basically have to pay for wristbands to get in. You do that up front if you're staying as a guest. So if you have extra family members come down, you can't necessarily like, oh, use my wristband or anything like that. You also have to pay for them. It's like, well, I have my own paddle boats and kayaks. Can I bring those? And you can, there's a registration fee for them, but there is also some provided. What about like beach gear? You know, you go down to the beach in Newport Beach or San Diego and you bring your own chairs and tents. And as of now, you're totally fine with bringing your own gear if you want. If you have a sweet fold out chair that you love, you can bring that. Dogs, pets, are they allowed in the lagoon? They are not allowed in the lagoon. But there are pet-friendly rentals and areas in the community, but in terms of the lagoon, you won't see any dogs running around. Okay, what about alcohol? There's no alcohol permitted at the lagoon. My honest take about Desert Color, other than it's an awesome place to fly my drone around, it's a unique place for anyone that wants to relocate or is looking to get a short-term or long-term investment. However, I do think it's worth checking out if you are looking to buy a home in southern Utah or move here or get an investment property. And a lot of new builds are competitive pricing. If you need help to kind of talk about your budget or, you know, comparing Desert Color to other areas like DR Horton in Long Valley or in Ivins or other new builds in southern Utah, feel free to text me, call me, zero pressure. Just here to try and help you make a smart move. Thank you so much for watching. What neighborhood do you want to know about next? I'll go fly my drone around, go talk to some neighbors, go walk through some homes so you can get a better feel. Please reach out if you have any questions that I can help you with, and I'll see you in the next neighborhood video.